Hello everybody, welcome to Magic Moments Tarot. My name is Rose. We're going to start off with a quick prayer and then we'll get right into it as usual, okay? So just give me a second here. O cosmic divinity of all radiance and vibration, soften the ground of our beings and carve out within us a space where your presence can abide. Fill us with your creativity so that we may be empowered to bear the fruit of your mission, so that we bear fruit in accordance with our desires. Endow us with the wisdom to produce and to share what each being needs to grow and to flourish. Untie the tangled threads of destiny that bind us, as we release others from the entanglement of past mistakes. Do not let us be seduced by that which will divert us from our true purpose, and illuminate the opportunities of the present moment. For you are the ground, the fruitful vision, the birth, the power, and fulfillment, as all are gathered and made whole once again. And so it is, and so it is, and so it is. Okay, so just thought I'd do a little extra saging in here. Get the energy all cleaned out, all pretty. Okay, so what I wanted to talk about was something that actually I had a couple things. One thing that's funny and one thing that's very not funny at all, okay? So we'll start off with the bad and then we'll end off on the good because, I want to go into the reading on a good foot. So I had a download a long time ago about someone who was willing to sacrifice their own child in order to keep a man or get a man or to keep another woman away from her man. Okay, it was like a situation like that. Okay, it was very like horrible. Do you know what I mean? Like not. Sorry, I'm trying to do a couple things while I talk at the same time. It was really disturbing. I didn't want to make the post, and I ended up taking it down because I didn't want to. I don't know. I guess I was worried that by declaring it, it would be so. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was just worried about putting it out there into the world because I didn't want it to happen. Okay, but last night I was watching a reading. And normally when I go and look up a reading, I will ask Mother and Father God, angels, my ancestors, whoever, to show me a message that is for me. And then I usually ask them to give me a sign, and then I name that sign in my head, kind of thing, and if that comes up, then I know for sure the reading was for me, and I use my discernment and all this kind of stuff. But anyway, so that's what I had done when I did this reading, when I was watching the reading last night. And that same energy that I had picked up on before about someone sacrificing their child in order to keep, I don't know, another feminine from stealing her man, came up. Now, I don't know for sure that that is a message for me. But I can say that that's pretty horrific, okay? And I got a couple names last night. Again, I don't want to say the names because, again, I'm worried about, like, if I say it, it'll happen. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to put it out there because I feel like maybe that's casting a spell. Like, do you know what I mean? I don't know, but I'm nervous about putting names out there. I'm always nervous when it comes to names. That's why I always say this person could be significant, that person could be significant. I don't like saying which name belongs where, even if I know or have a feeling, because I don't like putting it out there, and I feel like Our words are very powerful, okay, and what you say can at times manifest, and I don't want to manifest that kind of thing, okay? But I can say this. How about I say this? You know what? I'll just say what I picked up on before, and then again what was confirmed last night when I watched this other reading, okay? So you shouldn't, okay, obviously I'm going to say you shouldn't be doing that. That's freaking horrific. I mean, who does that kind of thing? That's just awful and ridiculous and completely unnecessary. And also, you have already been chosen for the sacrifice. So doing that to your child isn't going to do anything but plunge your soul into eternal darkness and curse your bloodline, because you've already been chosen as the sacrifice for that deity, whomever it is that you are trying to make this sacrifice for or to. What it is that you are trying to do, the person that you're trying to unalive or destroy, can't be affected by your magic because your frequency is too low. So yeah, please leave your child alone. And if, I mean, on the off bazillion and one chance that this is actually regards to me, I don't want that guy. I don't want him. He's all yours. Have at her, Hoss. I don't want him anyways, so I don't know what you're worried about or why you even care. I moved like so far away. I have nothing to do with that town, with you, with anybody there anymore. You like have nothing to worry about. I don't know what your problem is. I mean, okay. Now that's just on the off, really, really way off chance that that's about me. I've said my piece. I'm over it. Let's move on to the funnier thing. Now, I just have a curiosity question for y'all. So I talked to this guy today who said he wanted me to send him feet pictures and he would pay me a certain amount a month and blah, 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 blah. And I considered it, and then I thought, yeah, why not? It's just feet, right? I mean, that's not a big deal, is it? I don't know. And then he tried to send a payment. It didn't go well. So I said, well, you know what? The payment's not going through. I feel like this is a sign. And I just, I said, sorry, I'm not interested anymore. I blocked him. Fine. But I'm just wondering, I'm curious to what you guys think. Like, is that like, where do you guys stand on that as far as like morals are concerned? Is that like is that like a bad thing, a bad thing to do? My sister and I joke about it all the time, but like when I was presented with the option, I thought, I don't know. And then I was like, yeah, it's feet. Who cares, right? Yeah, sure, absolutely. But then I felt weird about it. And so I don't know. I'm very ambiguous about it right now. And I don't know what to think. And I'm just curious if you guys have any thoughts on that kind of thing. And yeah, if any of you have done anything like that or whatever, if anyone has any insights or just something funny they'd like to share, please come forward because I would love to hear about it. I'm just interested to see what everybody sort of thinks about it, because I found myself like, I don't know, I didn't know how to feel about it, and I still really don't. So anyhow, that said, let's move on to some other messages that I got. Now, these messages that I got came partially through the spirit box. So some of those messages that I got came through the spirit box, okay? I just said that. I know I just repeated myself, whatever. So one of them was that there's going to be some form of terrorism on a bridge or bridges, okay? Something to do with a bridge or bridges. possibly like an explosion of some kind or something. I don't know. And what was the other? Hold on, I wrote them down. They're on my thingy here. One second. Let me see if I can find out what I wrote. Here we go. Okay, someone is near death right now. Okay, someone is near death right now. Someone may be succumbing to an incurable STD soon. Someone may have issues with their stomach, or I'm getting like abdomen, okay? So like abs, like anywhere in the trunk of the body, I guess. And then I'm getting that someone is looking to control someone through some kind of ritual or MKU or something, okay? And then I got a bunch of names, okay? So I'm just going to read off the names that came through that were significant, okay? So we have the names Amanda, or Mandy in brackets, Pam, Judy, Steve, Jacob, Noah, Nevaeh, Jen, Andrew, Audrey, and Frank. Okay? Those are the names that came through on the spirit box. And I think I gave all the messages. I talked about yeah. Okay, anyways. Like I said, I don't like putting people's names with experiences when I speak, because I'm really like afraid of speaking it into existence, so I don't really like to do that. So yeah, I hope that helps someone or gives someone some sort of insight so that they can, I don't know what. Honestly, I don't know what, but I'm obligated to deliver the messages I get, so that's what I get. That's what I got. Okay, now that we've got all that out of the way, let's get into the tarot, shall we? I'm going to do a Celtic cross reading today, okay? I hope you all are doing really well. I hope you guys had a great day. We had a beauty day today. I spent the day working on some crafts. We did some crafts with the boys in the morning, and then I just had to finish them off because we used concrete, and so stuff needed to be finished because it's their last day of school tomorrow, and they wanted to make gifts for their teachers. So we had some fun doing crafts. Oh no. We got the Queen of Wands and the Lovers. Well, at least they're in the upright. So this represents the current energy of the situation, the current energy of the collective, okay? So this is someone who enjoys the limelight, is magnetic and attractive, has a good amount of confidence, someone who enjoys enterprise, but also enjoys their family life, okay? I often associate the King and the Queen of Wands with a practitioner energy, and it's in the upright, so this is someone who has some sort of gifts, possibly. Could be a light worker of some kind, could be a tarot reader, psychic, empath, something like that, okay? And now we have the Lovers. We have major choices in love. Soulmates, kindred spirits, and perfect unions. Okay. So the current energy now is that of a Queen of Wands who has a choice to make between two lovers. We just got two words on the spirit box too. We got purgatory and currency. Ooh, wow, okay. What I just got in my head is someone's trying to buy their way out of purgatory? Some night like that? What? How do you do that? Okay. I don't really get how that is like a thing that you can accomplish, but whatever. Okay, where did my thing go? Hold on a second, guys. Okay. We get the person's attitude around the situation, please, Spirit. Or, sorry, what's blocking this person, please, Spirit? Any blocks or obstacles, challenges that are coming up for this person? I feel like I just flipped. No, I didn't. Alright. We have the word joke on the spirit box. Joke. Someone thinks someone is a joke, or something is a joke. Ooh, okay, what's blocking them? Oh, shit. We have the sun. We have the sun, and then we have the tower, but the tower's in reverse. So what's blocking them, or blocking someone, is a resistance to change. Resistance to change, avoiding tragedy. And then positivity, freedom, fun, success, optimism, vitality, joy. I don't get how that is a block. Or it's an obstacle. Unless this person is karmic, in which case I could see how that would be a block. Or maybe it's that this person is just, maybe it's that this person wants to keep everything nice. They don't want to have to make things messy. They don't want to mess up anything. So they're just trying to stay positive and happy and good, and all that. And they don't want to make any major changes because they don't want to ruin the vibes, right? They don't want to get messy. They don't want to cause a problem. They don't want to rock the boat. They don't want to stir things up. And maybe that's what's necessary in this situation. We just got the word observer on the spirit box. Observer. So maybe this person is like maybe you're being told by spirit, like, it's okay to be positive and everything, but there's also such a thing as toxic positivity, okay? Because when you shine a light too brightly and your light is too bright, you become blinded by that light. You have to be able to balance. You have to be able to balance yourself. You have to be able to stand up when the time is right to stand up. You need to be able to fight when the time is right to fight. Do you know what I mean? So you can't be sunshine, roses, and daisies all day long. You have to have a balance in your spirit, right? Because when you spend all day long trying your best to be positive all the time, and you avoid confrontation and you avoid doing those things that you need to do in order to stand up for yourself, in order to stand up for the truth, you end up lowering your frequency and lowering yourself as a person because you're not living in your authenticity. So you need to be more authentic with who you are, okay? We have light at the end of the tunnel, recovering, improving, letting go of negativity and stress. So maybe that is why, because that's your attitude around the situation. So maybe you're just like, you know what, I don't want any more negativity in my life. I just got rid of all that shit. I'm trying to stay in a positive headspace. Screw all the noise, right? So I don't know. And I get that. I 100% get that. But you do need to find some balance in your life, okay? You can't be so positive that you refuse to stand up for yourself or for others, or, you refuse to confront situations that need to be confronted, or do what needs to be done in order to, get the job done, just in the name of keeping the peace. It's not your job to constantly keep the peace. Ooh, recent past, death, a spiritual transformation, new beginnings. So someone just went through a death, like they literally... Okay, so this is someone who's gone through an ascension. Because this is in the past and it's not the future. This is obviously, you haven't died because you're here. So this is someone who has had a metaphorical death. Okay, so you've, for lack of a better way of putting it, you've put to death your old ideals, your old self, your old ways of being, and you've come alive again as a new person, like almost like being born again. Do you know, like, how like the Christians say born again, someone is born again. And that's what you've done. You've put a death to all your old, ways, and you're sort of looking at new ways of being, and you're trying to stay in the light. But you're being resistant to change, and that might be an obstacle for you, because we always have to remain adaptable, and getting outside of your comfort zone is usually where all the greatness in life happens, okay? So, take a risk. Do something crazy. See what happens, right? And I don't mean like toxic crazy. I mean like... confront that person that needs to be confronted, cut off that person that needs to be cut off, walk in your strength, walk in your power, stand up for yourself when it needs to be done. You have to do what you have to do to be your authentic self. Wow. I was just going to say, okay, so these are your strengths. Justice. Your strength is justice. Your strength... you have a really great sense of integrity, and you're honest. You're really good at... you might be really good, like with diplomacy, okay? The name Sebastian just came up on the spirit box, Sebastian, so that name might be significant. So you're really good at balancing things out. So Spirit is saying, you're really good at balancing things out. Just, pull on that. You're really good at it. Keep going. Or maybe this is something that you're starting to do now, and you're just not very good at it yet. You know what I mean? You're not very good at figuring out how to stand up for yourself without being toxic. Maybe that's it. Maybe you're struggling with, what's the word I'm looking for? Aggression or passive aggression versus assertiveness, right? Assertiveness being healthy, passive aggressiveness and aggressiveness being unhealthy, right? A good way to deal with things like that are to use the formula fight. We used to call that, or I called it formula fighting. I can't remember what the teacher, I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. But the formula fight is easy. It just goes like this. You follow the formula, okay? When you do this and you name a fact, okay? Can't argue with the fact. It happened. That's the fact. When you do this, it makes me feel like this. They can't argue with how it makes you feel, right? There's no argument there. When you do this, it makes me feel like this. This is the boundary that I am going to put up if this behavior doesn't change, okay? And then you put down a reasonable you lay down a reasonable boundary. Okay, I don't want this behavior anymore, and this is what will happen if this behavior continues, right? And then you just stick with the boundary. That's the key, though, is you really have to stick with the boundary. If you tell someone to do something and they walk over that, they step over that boundary, you then have to actually follow through with what it is that you said you were going to do, right? And that's the key, right? And it's a very easy formula to work with, because it pretty much fits most situations. And again, nobody can argue with you. You can't argue with a fact. You can't argue with someone. You can't argue how it made you feel. Okay? And they can't argue your boundaries. If they're not willing to listen to your boundaries, then that person just needs to be cut off, right? Because people who aren't going to respect your feelings or your boundaries aren't worth having in your life, right? So anyway, I hope that's helpful advice for someone. And, please don't be thinking that I'm Miss Perfect, because God knows I am not. I have made my mistakes. I have a hard time remembering the formula fighting myself, even though I teach it to other people. I'm not as, as practiced as I might seem watching me on this channel. Okay, I'm not nowhere close to perfect. I make mistakes all the time. I get in fights. I do stupid things. I say stupid things. I am a work in progress, just like everybody else. Okay, so no judgment here. Trust me, no judgment. Okay. Anyways, let's go on to what is in this person's near future. Near future spirits. What's going on in this near future? We just got the word seal. S-E-A-L. Seal. S-E-A-L. What is going on with seal? Possible seal? Face a possible seal. Okay. I feel like I'm hearing seal has been unlocked, or someone is unlocking a seal, or I don't know, something like that. Ooh, near future energy, the High Priestess. What? Accomplishment. Mystery, intuition, inner knowing, self-trust, spiritual insight, emotional stability, divination, esoteric wisdom and knowledge. Things yet to be revealed. Discovering your truth. So you're about to discover some truth that you've been unaware of, and this is going to heighten your gifts and your abilities. I mean, you started off as a Queen of Wands, and now you're becoming a High Priestess? That's your near future? What? Someone's getting an upgrade. Congratulations, guys. That's why Spirit wants you to balance out this energy. Because, what do they say? More money, no more problems. So the higher you elevate, the more enemies you're going to have, just naturally, because that's the nature of the beast, right? So you're going to have to learn how to stand up for yourself. You have to be strong, and they want to make sure that you're strong and that you've got a good head on your shoulders. So when a problem comes in, try not to overreact and have an emotional, reaction to situations. Try to, you're allowed to have emotions. I'm not saying don't feel. What I'm saying is what you do with those emotions is what counts, okay? It's okay to sit home and have a good cry and feel really bad about a situation, but to wallow in that is not okay. To take it out on other people, to get angry and throw things, not okay, right? So it's not that we can't have the emotions, it's that we don't dwell on them and we don't take them out on other people, okay? That's a healthy way to emote. And then you move on from that, right? Acceptance is a big part of it. You have to be able to accept what you cannot change or control, right? And I know, easier said than done is sometimes, because sometimes things are really, really brutal. Things can happen in life, and I get it. But, yeah. Ooh, we just got the word beer. So someone might be taking a very negative approach to things happening. Beer, and we just got the word fat. Oh my goodness. So someone is eating their feelings, someone might be drinking their feelings away. Maybe Spirit is warning you against doing these things, you know what I mean? Okay, interesting, because I was just going to say, Spirit, I only want one card coming out here. And what did we just get? We just got this, the fucking Five of Swords. And then we got the Return to Sender card. The Being Hasty card. Alright. Okay, so you might have people who are trying to stop you on your journey, okay? I only want one card, Spirit, and I need to know this person's attitude around the situation, okay? This person's attitude around the situation. We have the word alone on the Spirit box. Alone. Someone is feeling alone. Or someone is alone. They feel like they're alone. Maybe that's you. Maybe you are alone. Maybe you need to stay alone for a while and protect your energy. I don't know. Someone has an offer coming in. The word offer just came up on the Spirit box. Someone might have an offer coming in soon. Hopefully it's not for foot pics. Oh gosh. Wow, okay. So this card is supposed to be what to focus on, okay? Or what to focus on, or what you are focused on, okay? And it talks about childhood issues. It talks about bedroom abuse, bad news. Okay, this is a Page of Cups in reverse. And the Page of Cups is usually someone coming forward with some sort of a proposal, right? Now, this is in the opposite. So, the childhood issues, the bedroom abuse, maybe that is what Spirit is trying to tell you about. Maybe that's the, it says discovering your truth, so maybe that's what you're going to discover is maybe you have some suppressed memories around some bedroom abuse that happened in your childhood. Okay? Maybe you're going to recover those memories, and maybe that's why Spirit is saying that you need to really practice your emotional responses, because it would be infuriating. Of course it would be, right? And Spirit is telling you to try your best to take it in stride, okay? And to don't let it bring you down. Don't let it take over your psyche. Don't let it change your frequency, in other words, okay? Again, like I said, you're allowed to be upset about things. Being upset doesn't lower your frequency. What does lower your frequency is when you start taking it out on other people, or when you really start to wallow in it. You know what I mean? You're allowed to feel. You're allowed to feel. 100% you're allowed to feel without lowering your frequency, okay? So, yeah, Spirit is saying get ready. There is some information that's going to come forward. Someone is going to share this information with you. Someone's going to tell you something. Okay? Someone's going to come forward with some kind of information. They're going to have to, for some reason. I don't know why. But someone has to. They have to. They have to say something. I don't know. It's like if they don't, there's like something bad is going to happen. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Okay. Or maybe you're going to just discover this yourself. Maybe you're going to recover these memories. I don't know. But with the page coming in, I feel like someone is going to come in and tell you something. Or maybe they'll tell you something and it'll trigger a memory. I don't know. But you're about to find out something, okay? And Spirit is saying, just, gird your loins, prepare for what you're about to hear. And try not to let it upset you. Know that you are safe, you're okay. It's not happening to you now, nor will it happen to you again. You know what I mean? And try not to sort of live in that space, okay? Spirit just wants you to stay balanced whilst you're going through this situation, okay? Okie dokie pokey. Okay, so what does this person need to know, Spirit? What do they need to know? What does this person need to know that they don't already know? Or, yeah, what do they need to, what do they need to know about this situation, Spirit? What does this person need to know, Spirit? What do they need to know? Ooh, there's trouble coming in. Yeah, there's trouble coming in. It says out of the frying pan and into the fire. A lack of progress has been made. Yeah. So there's definitely something, like I said, this is pretty big thing to deal with, okay? And you may need to go to court or stand up for yourself, or you know what I mean? Share your story. You may need to. There's something going on. You're not just going to find out this information. You're going to have to take some sort of an action around this, okay? Or someone might try to take some kind of an action on this. Someone might call you a liar. Someone might, I don't know, I'm hearing try to shut you up. I don't know. There's gonna be some sort of trouble around this, okay? Like something is gonna happen. So just be prepared. Like I said, keep yourself balanced. Keep living in the now. Don't live in the past. Try not to let these people get to you, because I feel like someone is trying to get to you on purpose, okay? And then we have wishes and what is it? Wants and likes and dislikes, or what is it? What you want and what you don't want to happen. Fears. Oh my God, fears and wishes. Wishes and fears. That's what this is. So when I get wishes and fears, I always look at both sides of the card. Okay. On the wishes side, we have the Temperance, balance, peace, patience, moderation. Okay, harmonious relationships, soulmates, and serenity. And then on the other side, we have imbalance, self-indulgence, excess, clashing of perspectives, discord, and antagonism, recklessness and hastiness, okay? So because it came out in the reverse, I feel like this is going to be this is what's going to happen, is when this information comes out and you confront this person, it's going to cause a big hoopla, okay? And your reaction may be calm, these people that you're going to be dealing with, their reactions will not be calm. This is going to cause a big stink, okay? And again, what I said was earlier is I feel like God's warning you, like you need to be able to stand up for yourself. You need to be strong because you can't just sweep this under the rug. This is one of those situations where you need to stand up for yourself. You need to do the right thing, and you need to speak out. You don't hide, and don't be afraid to rock the boat. Speak your truth, walk in your truth, walk in your authenticity. Okay. Yeah, it's gonna rose. Yeah, it's gonna rock the boat. Yeah, it's gonna cause some problems. But you know what? It's for your highest good. God wouldn't be putting this situation in front of you if it wasn't needed for you, right? Yeah. So we have possible outcome here, and um, we have a decision that needs to be made. Someone, yeah. Okay, so someone is coming in with this news, okay? Like I said before, remember I said that this page, someone's coming in with this news, okay? But this person isn't really sure whether or not they want to come forward. They sort of have a divided loyalty about this situation. They don't know if they want to tell what happened. They feel torn between two relationships, okay? They feel loyalty to two people, and they're not really sure whether or not they should say anything, okay? This person is very calculating, though, and they're not concerned about the feelings of other people. So I find it interesting that they're not concerned with the feelings of other people, and yet they feel a certain loyalty to both parties. So maybe this is kind of like a kind of person who is capable of attachment but not capable of deep, meaningful love. Do you know what I mean? Either way, someone is coming forward with this information, and patience might be needed. Like this, it might take a bit for you to get to the truth of the situation. It might take a bit for this person to come forward, okay? But I feel like they're going to because they have to. But the reason it's going to take so long is because of this divided loyalty. They might be coming forward because there might be some sort of like legal thing going on. Like maybe this person is being investigated or something. Maybe this person is going to come in and try to be honest with you in order to get you to, I don't know, take it easy on them or something. I have no idea. But yeah, someone is coming in with some screwed up news, okay? And this is going to cause a big ruckus. And Spirit is saying, don't be afraid to get your hands dirty. Don't be afraid to rock the boat. Rocking the boat is sometimes what is needed, and this is one of those situations, okay? And you need to be able to stand up for yourself, okay? These people aren't going to be able to find a balance in this situation, and that's okay. They don't need to. That's the whole point, okay? But you need to stay balanced. You need to stay in your earth angel energy. You need to stay in your high priestess energy. You need to stay calm and copacetic, okay? Do your best. I'm not saying don't feel. I'm not saying don't emote. What I am saying, though, is don't take it out on other people, okay? And don't give them any, sort of fuel, right? Because when you get upset and start yelling at other people, that's you giving your energy to them. And they don't deserve your energy, okay? If you want to be upset, you want to scream and yell, do it at home, do it in your privacy, do it by yourself. Don't be giving your energy away to others. They don't deserve it, okay? And make sure if you need someone to talk to reach out and talk to someone that you trust. Find a therapist. They have a lot of online therapists nowadays, so you can do it from your own couch. You don't even have to go anywhere. There's a lot of different options as far as getting help with emotional things like this are concerned. So please don't be afraid to reach out and do what you need to do to get yourself to a healthy spot mentally, okay? This was a pretty heavy reading, guys. I'm so sorry. I don't know why I'm laughing. I shouldn't. I'm sorry. I have a really bad habit of laughing in really inappropriate situations, but that's just a trauma response of my own, so you'll have to excuse me. Anyway, I hope that this has helped you guys. I hope that this resonates with you. We did get a couple more names, so let me just go back and read these names out, please. Sorry, we got the name Henry, and we got the name Aaron, and it's the double A, Aaron, Aaron, okay? Okay, anyways, yeah, so like I said, I hope that this helps. Yes, and if you didn't see the video that I posted about someone finding a report that there may be a false flag situation happening in the States during the is it July 1st or July 4th for the States? I can't remember. I don't even remember for my own bloody country. Anyways, one of those weekends, okay, Independence Day. Independence Day. There might be some sort of a false flag biological attack of some kind, okay? So if you're in the States, my suggestion is that you stay home and you stay inside. I feel like it's going to affect a lot of people, and I feel like the reason that these people will be affected is because they're outside. Like there's something to do with being outside, because a lot of people are going to be outside, so it'll be a perfect time to target. You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, look for the video. It's on my feed. You can take it with a grain of salt. I just wanted to give a little warning out to my American friends to please be careful. Keep yourselves really clean. I'm getting the word sandwich on the spirit box right now, okay? So maybe it's, something that's going to be in the meat, or maybe it's something that's going to be released in the fireworks. I don't know, okay? I don't know. It could be anything, and it could be full of poop. Maybe nothing's going to happen. I don't mean to fearmonger. I'm just saying I wouldn't be able to live with myself if I didn't at least warn people, okay? Anyways, we just got the word sandwich, and then we got the word cage, and then we got the word Dutch. So I don't know what that means, guys, but I hope it has meaning for you. I love y'all, and I hope you have a great night. Please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe on your way out, and I will talk to you again soon. Love you, bye.